You're allowing him to get himself off with your body? Ew, stop. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Gray in Between. I'm your host Lola, and together we'll dive into the captivating tales from Meta and beyond, where life's most complicated moments take center stage. Alright guys, let's get straight into today's first story, and this is a juicy one. It's titled, Am I the asshole for wanting a divorce from my wife after she refuses to allow me to read texts from her new friend? If her new friend is a man and she's not letting you go through her phone, then she's hiding something. I, 38 male, and my wife, 33 female, have always had an open phone policy. We share the same passcode and never once has there ever been any hesitation about exchanging phones, using each other's, watching while we text, etc. It's nothing we go out of our way to do, but if we're cuddling, I'm not going to hide my screen while I text and vice versa. Yesterday, I accidentally left my phone in the car with her when she dropped me off at work, and I asked her to check my messages throughout the day and notify me if anything popped up I needed to respond to. A few months ago, my wife started a new position within her company. She works remotely, but is on a leadership team with 3 others that she works very intimately with. She travels with them as well. Her first time meeting James in person was on a business trip about a month ago. A series of terrible misfortunes led to them working together into the wee hours of the morning and then sharing his room. The hotel had overbooked for their final hours of sleep. She slept on the couch. I would not, as confident as I would be in my relationship, not okay. For either husband or wife, I would not be okay with that. Go sleep in the car. You have a rental car, turn the heater on, go get a motel, go get another hotel. Who cares if that hotel overbooked? Go get another one. Your company will pay for it. It's a company trip. It's a company card. They're not going to let you be stranded. You could buy, if there was no other room available, they'd let you buy like a $500 room. Please don't pull that card. Since then, I've noticed her body language when texting him. If she sees me noticing, she'll quickly close her screen and put her phone away. This was making me uncomfortable, but I thought maybe I was being unreasonable. About a week ago, I kind of jokingly asked if she had a crush on him. Her response was denial, but the way she responded made me further suspicious. Then, a week ago, she tells me he broke up with his girlfriend because he sees how much we love each other and he wants that kind of love. He wants your wife's love. So, 2 nights ago, I did something I've never done before in my life. I read their messages while she was asleep. They go back to the day they met in person. A few things made me uncomfortable. 1, when my wife asked what they should do when they visit. The other team members are coming to our city in a week. James responded with something cheeky and said, "Oh, right, you meant professionally, not personally. Better to keep it professional." 2, James has a niche hobby in a gym, and my wife lied about some of her other friends also being involved in something similar. They discussed going to the gym together and that they could take care of her. She responded by saying, "If I did your workout routine, I'd die." 3, we went to visit family this last weekend and she sent James a photo of our kids that she hasn't even sent me. 4, she invited him to participate in a race that would take place in a different state than either ours or his. He accepted the invite. Then she asked me how I felt about her doing this race again this year, that a few people from her company would be participating and she'd like to go. She conveniently left out that James would be there. Yesterday morning, I tell her I'm uncomfortable with their friendship. When I asked if she had a crush, she did tell me that she felt immediate friend chemistry with him and she loved the feeling of excitement she gets with their interactions. But she also became defensive and upset that I didn't trust her. Last night I told her I didn't trust him, that even if she's not interested, I think for a number of reasons that he's flirting. I told her I wanted to get over my unease and asked if I could read her messages. That's something since day 1 she's always told me I was allowed to do. I've never asked to do it before. She was livid. She said she's disgusted by how quickly I've become so controlling over her and I've taken my discomfort from 0 to 60 over him. She says it's not about her relationship with him at all, but about how controlling I am around all of her friendships. And I admit I have been hurt by how frequently she'll go out with friends where I'm not invited, or she'll go to a party and not invite me. We've had our disagreements about this before because she's welcome when and where I am 100% of the time. After the big blow up, I went and took a shower. When I got out, I asked again to see the messages. She, very pissed, gave me her phone and declared, "Here, happy now? Here's everything from the beginning," and had scrolled to the top. I immediately went to the recently deleted messages and saw she had deleted 60 messages between them while I was in the shower. I said to her, "Why did you delete these messages between you?" She asked how I knew she did. I told her I went to the section and showed her. She grabbed the phone and refused to let me see it again the rest of the evening. We fought more and she told me I wouldn't be allowed to look at all now. She regretted deleting them as she sees it's escalating the situation, but that she thought some messages from yesterday would upset me. They had exchanged songs and he had mentioned that one of them was sexy. We went to bed and again I went through her phone. Sure enough, the deleted messages were exactly what she said. Kind of. The messages about the song exchange was only 16, but she had deleted 60. I don't know which others she felt she needed to keep from me. This morning, I asked her again to see it. I asked her again what she deleted, and she doubled down that it was only the song messages. She tells me she'll cut off her friendship with James entirely before she'll ever show me the messages. She tells me any friendship she could have with him is totally tainted now by my controlling behavior. I tell her I can't trust her, that any reasonable human would be suspicious of their partner if they behave the way she has around this. She told me my feelings are a me problem and she's not in control of how I feel. I told her all I need is to see them because I want to talk about some of what I know with her to feel at ease. She told me if I felt so strongly about it, I had a choice to make. Am I the asshole for wanting to divorce her over this whole thing? I don't believe she's physically cheated, but I do feel like she's well on her way to at least emotionally cheating if this doesn't already qualify. Oh, 1000. I don't think you're the asshole at all. This would solidify me. Clause for divorce for sure. A few things I actually want to say in regards to this, right? She's lied openly and by omission, okay? So with the phone thing, I'm very pro that, like showing your phone all the time, whenever, right? The moment you get defensive about it, the moment that you're hiding something. And if I was truly in a platonic relationship with someone like that and my spouse was like, hey, like I'm kind of feeling insecure about this, like, can you show me your phone? 100%. Like, because that person is my number one priority, I would say, hey, here, like, go through it. Like, there's nothing to worry about. You should never get defensive if you have nothing to hide. And the fact that she's going great lengths to say you have a decision to make here, I would rather end my relationship with him and then never show you that text message. I think she's waiting for you to start the divorce so that she can be with him. I would already consider this cheating. I would be really upset. Like my spouse was sending pictures of our children to another woman. Who the hell do you think you are? These are coworkers. This is why I'm so pro. Like, why are you talking to them about anything besides work? Sending songs? So weird. They're like in the pre-stages of dating. They're like flirting around. This is not, absolutely not. My husband is cheating on me with my best friend. Oh, wait. My husband is cheating on me with our best friend. Why do you guys have the same best friend? I recently found out that my husband, 42 male, is cheating on me with our married best friend, 32 female. She is the godmother to our 4 children. They don't know that I know, but I caught them making out at the end of the driveway when he was seeing her off after dinner with our family. We live in a small acreage and the driveway is a long way off from the main house. She had forgotten some crockery at the house and I decided to walk it over because for some reason the two of them always took a while to say goodbye. Now I know why. That's when I saw them lit by her car's headlights, making out in the front seat with our best friend straddling my husband. In shock, I didn't know whether to throw her Pyrex at the car or just walk away. I decided the latter and was too shocked to cry or be angry. When my husband got back, I had to pretend like everything was normal. I know this is stupid, but I couldn't sleep that night and decided to go through his phone. She was obviously under pseudonym and I found a handful of their messages dating 2 or 3 years. Her husband doesn't know. He's currently posted overseas as a diplomat. I'm sick with rage and betrayal. I'm lost and I have no idea what steps to take next. Okay, so she does have a small update. She goes, I don't live in the US, but in Australia. Technically, I can't file for divorce immediately as you need to be separated for 1 year and 1 day to file. My now ex-best friend just recently returned to the country. Her father has cancer after being posted with her husband overseas. The dinner was to welcome her home, and what a welcome. There's some comments here about the headlights illuminating them. Sorry, I meant overhead lights. As to what I'm going to do now, a part of me just wants to confront my husband, see what lame excuse he has, but I need to get away from him. This level of betrayal physically hurts. I can't help but think of all of the times we spent together over the years and for how long our families were fooled. My mind is going crazy. When she was single and he would rescue her from some bad date, or the times they were alone in my house when the kids and I were out, how irrationally angry he was when he found out she had a boyfriend, then chose to marry him. Thinking back on it, the two of them disappeared at her wedding. When I asked him where he was, he said he needed to reassure her that she had done the right thing. I feel so sick thinking of these things. As of tomorrow, my husband is going to be out of town. While he's out for the next few days, my sister-in-law, who is the only other person who knows, my brother's wife, will help me pack important documents and store them somewhere my husband doesn't know about. I've organized for my kids to stay with them for a week while I sort my shit out. I've spoken to a family lawyer and they have told me that the best way to start the separation procedure is to no longer be living under the same roof. I'm fortunate in that most of our assets are also in my name and the land our house was on was gifted to us by my parents. I'm planning to kick him out after this trip. But before that, I want to catch them both in the act again, have some hard proof, send it to the ex-friend's husband, and get the ball rolling for moving on with my life. I'll update with what happens after the confrontation. Oh man, I don't know if I could ever hold it in. I would have walked back in the house, saw the Tupperware. If I had walked out with Tupperware, I would hope no, I wouldn't. I would walk back in the house, get the baseball bat under my bed, and the movie Signs, just swing, keep swinging. I would just destroy everything in my sight. Like good for people who can like I don't know. I think you in those situations, it's either one of two. You either just become completely like shocked, you cannot move, or you just go in a fit of rage. And I'm more definitely the fit of rage person. And then I think I know like you have to be smart with it because you're married, and you have kids, and you have property and liabilities. So it's smarter that you don't do that. But I would have been like when he's on his trip, especially since it's my parents' land, he would have came back to all his shit on the grass, like get out of my house. But I think you're playing it better long term wise. My wife wants an abortion after a planned pregnancy. How should I react to this? I, 33 male, and my wife, 34 female, have been together for 8 years and married for 4. We have a 3-year-old son who is the love of my life. The first year after birth was harsh to say the least. Colicky, lack of sleep, moving, and the death of my father-in-law, an event we're still recovering from, but which has left some mental scarring on my wife. But we powered through, and our marriage has been great for a long time. About 6 to 7 months ago, we were driving home from my mother-in-law and decided we were ready for another child. This was a very sweet moment, and the following months were fantastic, and our relationship was almost better than always. Becoming pregnant was not as easy as we had hoped. My wife became incredibly disappointed every time it didn't happen. One time she said that it would be a huge disappointment if we never got a second child, and she did everything in her power to improve the chances of getting pregnant. About 5 weeks ago, she finally had a positive pregnancy test, and my wife was ecstatic. She took a pregnancy test every day for several days and even went to our general practitioner to confirm it with a blood test. We talked about names and planned our future together. 10 days ago, my wife didn't get out of bed and said that she felt unwell. Later at work, I got a text from her where she wrote that she felt awful and didn't want to continue with the pregnancy. I told her it was just morning sickness and hormones messing with her head. Things got worse over the next days, and she would hardly get out of bed all day and didn't react when our son wanted attention, which is very out of character. She kept saying that she had changed her mind and wanted an abortion. I repeated that it was just hormones and that I thought she really wants this child. We even went to an early ultrasound, which was normal. I felt warm and happy when I saw the heartbeat, but my wife said she wanted to throw up. Things have escalated over the last few days, and we've had ugly arguments where we both broke down crying. I had to call in sick on a 24-hour shift just to make sure our son was taken care of. She keeps insisting on having an abortion, and I have said that she is sick, that I'm worried that she needs help. I've said some things which I regret. Once I asked if she was psychotic because her logic didn't make any sense, and I also asked her not to kill our child. I apologized quickly for the latter and said I misspoke, but the damage was already done and she has used it against me several times afterwards. I called our general practitioner today while my wife was still in bed to make an appointment. My wife rushed out of the bedroom, snatched the phone, and yelled that our marriage was over. We managed to get an appointment and our GP referred us to a psychiatrist. Our GP didn't think my wife was mentally ill and didn't prescribe any medications. She said this should be handled by a professional psychiatrist. We sat down and talked when we got home, and my wife said that she was even more determined to go through with the abortion and felt disappointed in the way I have handled the situation, that I have ignored her feelings, calling her sick, and even been mentally abusing her and trying to manipulate her into not having an abortion. She also thinks our relationship is beyond repair because she will never be able to trust me again. I disagree with my wife. I have told her constantly that I love her, that I'm worried that she needs help while she has been using me as a mental punching bag. I've convinced her to talk to her mom, which is one of the few things which actually have helped. I've also done all of the housework and taking care of our son, which has been adding to the exhaustion. I love her, our family, and the child she is carrying, and I'm completely heartbroken. I can see that she is in pain and just wants me to support her through an abortion, but I can't bring myself to say yes, even though I probably would. She asked if I could forgive her if she had an abortion, and I said that I had to think about it, to which she responded that my answer told her everything she needs to know. I'm generally pro-choice and has told her several times that it's her body and that I can't stop her from having an abortion. My mind is completely melted. Everything was fine 2 weeks ago and we were looking at houses where we could raise our family, and now I'm going to lose everything. Does anyone have any advice on how to handle the situation? Yeah, he has a small edit, so I'll read that. Oh, my ear's popping out like a little monkey. I have been asked to tell my wife's reason why she changed her mind. She basically said that she hasn't been able to feel like herself after our son was born. She has regained some feelings for herself over the last month and is worried that she will lose herself again. We have talked about this and we are in a much better position than we were when we expected our son, with better economy, support, and work situation. Oh man, okay. So I think when these types of situations, right, I think it's important to really look at both sides. She's definitely going through some sort of prenatal depression. That is a real thing. Some people have it until their first and second trimester is over. You're just very down, unhappy, and a lot of anxiety. I think it will do her goodwill to go see a therapist. This is something that has happened to a lot of women. This situation, though, I really do sympathize with you. I don't blame you for how you reacted because, like, something that you were planning for and so happy for that to have like such a drastic change and this to come out of nowhere can be very shocking. And I'm glad you realized, like, okay, you knew you should have said those things, but in the heat of the moment, like, you just didn't know what else to do, which I will recognize. Like, good job. You just have to be very careful around hormonal women and don't say it's your hormones. I think you should have in the beginning had like reach out to her sister or her mom, be like, hey, she's feeling this type of way. I don't know what to do. She wants to have an abortion. Like, we planned this. I don't want this to happen. Please help me. Instead of like calling her psychotic and things like that. Everyone handles pregnancy differently, especially the second from the first. You don't know, she could be going through a lot of mental stuff since her dad passed away. But I'm gonna sympathize with him because, and her, of course. Like, don't even think I'm not taking her side at all. But for his perspective to be like, oh shit, like that's something really traumatic to hear. If you're planning this family, you want to have more kids with the love of your life, love of your family, and then your wife's like, actually, I don't want this baby. That's gonna be really shocking to hear and hard to process. How would you go about that? I wouldn't even know, And I'm actually like, even though it sucks, like, I don't know. This is hard. Like, I think in this situation, I'm gonna say it's prenatal depression just from what I'm wearing, and just from what I'm reading, and it can be really brutal. And I feel really bad for her because like she might like shake out of this and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm having these thoughts. I don't think she's just saying these things lightly. I think she's just really in a very, very, very bad mental spot. And you have to do your best supporting her in this situation and trying to put your feelings on the back burner because this is truly about her. I know that my husband is cheating on me. I need to tell someone. Go tell a lawyer. Go get your paperwork ready, sis. What are you telling us for? I, 40 female, found out that my husband was cheating on me about 6 months ago. I went into total shock. I thought that he, 39 male, loved me because he tells me that every day. We have a beautiful family together, 3 beautiful children, 5, 4, and 16-month-old. Beautiful home, vacation home. We are close to both our families and everything else is perfect. The other woman, 35 female, is a coworker of my husband's that I've known very well. She has been in my home. I've comforted her when her husband cheated on her and left her for his new woman. I saw her pain. Little did I know that she would inflict the same pain on me a few months later. I saw her nudes on his phone. Talk about their hookups on Messenger. She isn't even beautiful. She is disgusting, pathetic, and miserable. I know I'm being a disgusting misandrist here, but I can't help myself. What does she have that I don't? He disgusts me very much. He is pathetic and stupid. My respect for him is gone. I have chosen to pretend that I don't know. I love my life and I'll be damned if I share my children and not be able to see them every day of their lives. Not him nor her deserve me separating from my babies, my home, my family, my comfortable life, and my safety. Sometimes I think he knows that I know. When he looks at me and asks me to come back to him. When he asks me where I am in my thoughts. It feels like your body is here, but your mind is 1,000 miles away. I don't answer him. He starts to argue. Sometimes it feels like he's doing it to provoke a reaction out of me, but I never answer or engage until he gets tired and leaves me alone. I never initiate anything with him, and when he has me, I just let him and I refuse to let him pleasure me. In the beginning, he complained that I'm distant and cold and that I want him to use protection. I told him I stopped using birth control, so he has to wear protection. His complaining stopped when I told him that it's either this or nothing. 6 months later, I am mostly at peace with my life. I still have a lot of ups and downs, but the downs are getting fewer and further apart. Today was a down, so I needed to vent. The part of my heart and thoughts that were occupied with my husband were suddenly empty, and I found out that I'm pretty good at filling the void with other things. New hobbies, and even more quality time with my babies and loved ones. All is well. Oh, update. Oh, guys, we got an update. Friday, my husband had made me dinner and brought me flowers and chocolate. He said he wanted to make it a night for the two of us because he felt that we were pulling apart. Kids were sleeping and that he wanted me, and then got upset because it wasn't how he imagined the evening would go and accused me of not loving him or our family anymore. I got really angry when he accused me of not loving my family when they're all I have left to give my love and hope. I snapped at him that I didn't feel safe with him anymore, and he full well knew why I had become this way. You know the reason why. He was shocked and looked at me without saying anything and then just sat silent on his end of the bed for the rest of the evening. Before bed, he asked me to tell him how I would feel safe with him again and to tell him what I wanted him to do. He went to bed. I stayed up all night and made a list of demands. 1. I want a post-nuptial agreement where I get my house and my summer house. 2. I become a partner at his company at 50%. I don't know how these things work since I won't be buying in, but this is for him to fix. I'm not interested in management, just that I have my half of the passive income. 3. I want him to get a vasectomy. We were planning 4 children before all this, but I don't want that anymore. So he should have a vasectomy. 4. I want him to always wear condoms with me or never bother to touch me again. I will not even tolerate complaining about that part. Also, I want biannual STI tests. Wait, so you're okay with him continuing his cheating? You just want to protect yourself in the meantime if he ever leaves you? Sis, no. What are you doing? This morning, I sent him a text with these demands. I know it is silly to send someone you live with a text, but I didn't want to fumble with my words and forget details. I didn't want him to see me cry or being visibly emotional. I just couldn't take him trying to console me. Just the thought of him feeling sick for me makes me sick. But I also didn't want to forget anything, and I wanted it to be in writing. He read it on the breakfast table, and he didn't say anything. We continued the day as normal, and when the children were in bed, we had our dinner, and he said, "About your demands, I agree." I told him to start on Monday with realizing my list. So I guess since many of you have asked me to take measurements and have a backup plan, this is what I could come up with. And it did help. I woke up today a little bit less anxious. I don't know how long we can keep this up, but I hope until I feel safe to leave my babies in his care. Maybe when they're all in school. Why are you trying to stay in a marriage that you're miserable in? Why would you still want to sleep with a man who's cheating on you? I don't understand all of this. Like, you're allowing him to get himself, how could you allow, you're allowing him to get himself off with your body. Stop. No, walk away. Don't put, like, you're gonna be miserable. I get it. Your kids, you want to have a good house and everything. Like, trust me, your kids, when they get older and they realize it, they're gonna not be happy that you did this for them. Even though you think you're doing what's best for it, do what's best for yourself too. No, absolutely not. Just divorce each other. What's the point? Am I being brutal? Maybe, but like, I just don't think it's worth it. Just, it doesn't seem like you're ever gonna get over this. How can you be with someone who you know is gonna be constantly cheating on you? New hire at my boyfriend's job thinks she's going to run things and talk shit about me. Have fun being unemployed. My boyfriend saw this one through, and I'm so glad he did. This chick was hired onto the management team with my boyfriend and has been a problem from the start. As soon as she was hired, she came in trying to change things and run the restaurant, turned the employees against my boyfriend, and started causing issues with the schedule, demanding certain days off and fucking us over because now he has to work the worst days and she gets all of the weekends off. She also talked shit about me for some reason because I apparently have too much cleavage. There was no reason whatsoever for my name to be in her mouth, like WTF. Since then, we have been silently waiting for her to mess up. There was always little things like messing up the employee schedule or getting complaints about her from customers. But she finally did something big enough to report. An employee was irritated with her and vented to my boyfriend about it, and they spilled all the tea about a night where she demanded money from the servers as a tip for her. She's a salaried manager. She doesn't need tips from employees, and it's probably illegal too. She literally demanded $25 from each of them. Then when they gave her that, she said that wasn't enough and asked for $50 each. The ones who didn't give her the other $25 mysteriously got scheduled less the week after. Seriously messed up. Then my boyfriend heard from another manager and from the customers themselves of a huge wedding party that she was extremely unprofessional and difficult to work with. The guests complained about her 4 separate times. So my boyfriend decided to first tell the kitchen manager, the highest under the owner, who then told him to immediately bring it to the owner's attention. Owner complied a list of dates and employees' names. She's getting fired as soon as she gets back from vacation this Wednesday. So she does give us a little update. She says, they fired her earlier this afternoon. They immediately removed her from their Facebook group, like after the other manager called my boyfriend to tell him they did it. We immediately checked and she was already gone, which made my boyfriend think she probably didn't take it very well. The employee that brought the info to my boyfriend texted him after an announcement about schedule changes was posted on Facebook. Is she gone? Unfortunately, that's all I have right now. My boyfriend just went to work, so I'm going to have to give it a few hours to see if there are any juicy details I can get. Oh, okay. She does have one more update. She says she told her friend that she was fired for inappropriate tip distribution. LOL. Definitely tried to make it sound like she just made a mistake paying out a server one night instead of demanding a large amount of money from multiple servers for herself. All right, you guys, it's time for the final story for today's episode, and it's part of the viewer's submission, Viewer's Corner, where you guys, real viewers, send me your dilemmas and stories that you just want to get off your chest, and we can give our input, advice, or just be a listening ear for you. So this one's titled, Am I the Asshole? Wedding Guest Nightmare. I'm getting married in 2.5 weeks, and I've disinvited a guest, which has caused a massive family fallout. My cousin's girlfriend is a very strong character and constantly putting her nose where it's not wanted, sticking her nose in other people's business. It's happened throughout all of my planning, and I've kept my mouth shut for my family's sake, but I've hit my breaking point. I've had 6+ months of my wedding planning being belittled, told it's poor and it's not going to work. Her making up stories about the wedding and spreading them through my family, trying to cause arguments between me and my mom and the rest of my family. Fast forward to the weekend, it was my hen. I don't know what a hen is, guys. I googled it, but it looks like, I don't know. Everyone was enjoying themselves and having a good time. My cousin's girlfriend then decided to announce to the room when I was out of it that I had just verbally abused her, called her names, made fun of her weight, she's a big girl, and started crying to make everyone feel sorry for her. A friend came and told me what was being said. I was angry but determined to enjoy my night, so I apologized if anything I had said had been taken out of context. But I 100% had not done what I was being accused of. She accepted my apology and I did not receive one back. I avoided her for the rest of the night. Next day, as we're leaving, she's going on about getting cake home with her. I said I was in a rush to get home and I would cut all of the cake up and she could have as much as she wants in a little over 24 hours. She was happy and everyone went their separate ways. She then texted me a lot of abuse, calling me names, calling my wedding a sham, and a whole lot of mean and unnecessary things. So I've told her she's no longer welcome at my wedding despite being my cousin's partner. But my cousin is still more than welcome. My whole family is now outraged and not speaking to me and threatening not to come to my wedding. But I need to know, am I the asshole? Oh my God, no. I'm a very firm believer. I'm very picky with who I invite to functions, regardless if you're family or not. My cousin's partner, bye. You do not get to be invited to my events if I do not like you, if I don't get along with you. What was that Olivia Pope famous song? She goes, speaking to me is a privilege and you do not have privileges for. Like, you don't get to talk to me just because you're my family or you're related to my cousin. You're with my, no, absolutely not. And the fact that it took you this much time to be like, you know what, you're not invited. I would have done it a long time ago. And your family can chill out too. Why would they want? Good luck dealing with the wedding drama. I hope your wedding went well at this point, but I would not. I'm not going to appease my emotional state of mind on my wedding day for someone else. I'm a very firm believer in the wedding day is about the bride and groom. Everyone else there should be there to make me happy. My close family and friends should be there to make me happy. I'm happy that you're there to celebrate me, but you're there to celebrate me and do everything to make me happy. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of The Gray in Between. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment your favorite story from this week. If you have a story that you'd like to share or a dilemma that you want my take on, don't hesitate to reach out. Remember, life isn't always black and white. There's beauty in the gray. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep exploring the in-betweens. Bye.